Hi. Hi. Um, okay, so I'm gonna try. This will be very experimental today. Mm, okay, here's the thing. Sorry, let me get. Here's the thing. I usually like to be zoomed way out when we do these because that makes me feel less weird. But today we're gonna do a series that starts with toe work, building up to lunges, and when I had the camera far away, I just could not even see my toes. Um, so let's do one leg up close, and then I'll zoom out. That's what I wasn't sure if I could like do the zooming while we're recording, but I can. So when we start, if you have trouble with your balance, I'd suggest grabbing a chair, and I'm going to do it facing you when we get going. But first, let me just give you a side view. You want to stagger your legs about as big as a normal stride forward. Not a big step, not a power walking step, just cash step, so that you could keep your weight on your back leg and have free ability to move this front leg. Now, that being now with the chair, if you need chair support, I want you to keep the chair on the back leg side right now. And again, just as you're positioning, figure out where you can put that weight. Both legs parallel. I'm walking. I'm walking. Okay. We're going to start alternating lifting your big toe off the mat, placing it down, and then lifting the other four toes and placing them down. Keep switching back and forth, and it doesn't have to be at the same pace as me. I'm just going to keep doing them while I babble with you. To do either ends of this, you have to push down into the thing that's staying on the ground before you attempt to lift the other things. So right now I'm pushing down the four toes to let the big toe come off. And if you think in that order, you will continue to isolate the toes. I want you to keep like what you would imagine as the toe knuckles, that transverse arch. I want you to keep that down. If you do not do this perfectly, it's okay. Say last time I lifted my big toe, oops, my index toe came up too because I was not focusing. Okay, let's say that's enough of those for now. Then I want you to pick up all five toes, but not the knuckles, put them down. Now from your big toe, drag the toe toward your heel and then release it. I will give you a side view on that in a second, but toes up, drop your toes down. Now pull the big toe towards the heel and release it. So we're getting extension of the toes. And then when I pull my big toe in, I'm trying to lift up the arch. And in fact, you can feel that at both ends. My arch does one type of contraction here because it's tractioned by extending the toes. And now I'm trying to activate and lift through there. One more of each. Toes going up and then down and pulling up and lifting the arch and then dropping. Okay. Hands behind your head. If you need to hold the chair, keep holding on with one hand and leave your other one behind your head. You're going to rotate your upper body towards the front leg, and at the same time, you're going to pull your toes and the forefoot off the mat. So you're just on the heel with a dorsiflexed ankle. You're going to come back to the center. Now, allow the weight to shift into the front foot. You're going to lift your back heel, bend the knee, and curl the spine. And I apologize, I know you can't see me there. Come out of that flexion, flatten your foot. We're going to lift those toes up, rotate to the front leg, go back to the front. Now shift into the front leg, curl. So I'm getting the scoop, tucked pelvis, bent knee, lifted heel, and up. And we rotate, come back to center, shift the weight, flex and lift the heel, and up. We're going to do that two more times. Twist, back to the front, flex forward, scoop the abs in, let those elbows sink in just a little there, and then rotate, shift into the front heel, curl. One more time, and I'm just going to change the ending a little. Get to that curl. Now, I want you to take your foot and you're going to roll it forward so the toes are curled under. That's going to give you a little stretch in the front of the foot. Try not to roll the ankle out. Keep that line. Maintain that. You're going to lift your chest and chin, look up at the ceiling, and then flex forward. Now here again, we might need that balance support. You can grab the chair if you need it. And one more time, going up and back down. Now just careful, roll back through the foot and then come out of it. Okay, I'm just gonna go back to the side view for a second. Now, I'm gonna have you lift your back heel off the mat, and we're gonna go into oh, I'm sorry, I apologize. Now you can open your stance up a little bit because we're about to do a lunge. That was definitely not happening on me. All right, so now I want my weight even between the front and the back leg. We're still gonna work with the hands behind the head, and then you're gonna bend both knees and then come back up. When we're moving through our lunge, ideally the torso is staying vertical, and your knee does shift forward a little bit, but not way past the toe. Back heel has to stay lifted, and we want that back thigh coming straight down with our weight over it. Hold in the chair is fine. Stay down. Now I'm going to have you side bend towards the front knee side and then back up to vertical. And side bend over and up to vertical. This might be a bad video. Who knows? I'm being weird. And you can't see me. And up, over, and lift 2 more times. And last one. All right, from here, extend your back leg, shift your weight into your front leg, and come into that fencer's lunge where you're on the hinge and then return. Hinge forward and then back and lean and return. So you should feel work in that front thigh and the movement coming from the back. So that's holding the load and that's push pulling you here. Finish leaning forward. And now take your back heel, push it down and up, down and up. And let's do 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Step it forward. All right, let's do all of that on the other side. And da-da-da-da, a little more. Da-da. Oh wait, we're okay. I'm sorry. Yep. Let's just put that up a little higher. How tall am I? Oh, I'm not that tall. Okay. All right. So now doing it with the other leg. If you're a chairperson, that would be there. All right, so remember, we're starting with our stance a little more narrow, just like a regular step forward, but then you're bringing your weight into your back leg. Check that your feet are parallel to each other, and let's start exploring the foot movements again. I'm going to pick up big toe, place it down, lift the 4 other toes, place it down, big toe up, and then 4 little toes. So the control of this should be focused on the forefoot, the toes themselves, and then again how we're anchoring down and resisting with the toe or toes that's staying on the floor. Try to minimize your ankle moving, your thigh moving, and then one more time the other way, and then down. All right, next we're going to pick up all of the toes, place them down, then we take the big toe and try to draw it in towards the heel and then release it. So we get lift of the toes, drop, pulling in and out. These motions aren't meant to be huge. We're using intrinsic, small, deep muscles in the foot, and there's a limit to what their function is. So when I drag in, if I pick up the knuckle, I'm using different muscles. So I just want that shortening of the foot, lifting of the toes, and then dragging in. And just one more time, toes up, and then drag it in. Okay, I'm gonna go back to this way just so you can see the, maybe let me side view first, and then I'll go forward. Okay, adding rotation. Your hands are gonna come behind your head. My weight's still in my back leg to start. I'm gonna lift my foot up, and I'm gonna twist towards the front leg, come back to the front. Now I'm gonna let the weight shift forward. I'm gonna lift my back heel, flex the spine, and bend the knee, and then return to standing. So I'm going to rotate, shift the weight into the front foot, flex the spine and knee to lift the heel, and then come up. So from the front, toes up, I twist, and then I return the foot. Now I'm going to shift into that heel, flex, and up, rotate, turn to front, draw the abs in, tuck, let those elbows sink in, and return, and twist, and then flex. On this last one, we're going to change it. All right, now curl forward. Once you're in your supported flexion, flip your foot over, get those toes curled under, allow for that little bit of extra stretch in the front of the thigh. Now, when I add extension flexion, I'm holding that foot position, but I want to take a little load out of it, and I'm going to open up to the ceiling, inhale, exhale, back to that scoop. So when you're thinking of offloading with the chair, it's so that you go up. When you go down, you could still feel like you're pulling your foot away from the floor, but not off the floor. And that's how I'm resisting all the load going into the sensitive part of my foot. Last one, to flex. Okay, come on out of that and roll your weight back. Now, we opened up the stance a little bit more, so we can go into lunges. All right, so you just need space to do that. Find the vertical position of your torso. All right, here we go. Dropping down and coming back up. Keeping your hips as level as possible. Hands still here. Sorry, my hands are all over the place. Make sure you're breathing. I have not cued that on purpose. I want you to just breathe. And then stay down on this one. All right. So once you're settled into your lunge, you're side bending towards the front knee, so we get a stretch in the waist and the outer hip on that back side. And then over and up. And here, if you do want the chair support, you may want to just let go of it without going too far away from it. Just so you're giving yourself room to go down on that side. And one more time. And then up. All right, so now we're shifting forward. So I'm going to come at you just right to the screen. So I'm hinging forward, weight in the front leg, back leg straight, and then return. Hinge forward and return. On that forward reach, connect with that quadricep, hamstring to pull back. Reach and pull, and feel the foot propelling you forward and dragging you back. And reach. Tuck it down, go forward one more time, stay. Now dropping the heel down and up, maintaining that forward incline. Drop and lift, drop and lift for 4 and 3, 2, and 1. Come on out of it. All right. Now, last but not least, let's play around with a little pivot. So now I want you to go into a second position. Your heels are a little wider than your shoulders. And then when you bend your knees, you want to be turned out so your knees are still tracking over your toes. We're going to pivot side to side into a lunge. This time, let's take the hands to here. All right, sit on down into your plie to start. I'm going to have you lift one heel and rotate into a lunge, making a small rainbow with your arm as you come back and forth. So now the other arm will rainbow, and I'm going to pivot and then return to the center. And twist and middle and twist and middle. Every time I hit a pose, I'm going to drop just a little, so I come up a touch to pivot, dip at the end. Middle and pivot, middle and pivot. One more to each side like this. And middle and pivot. Let's take it back to the center. Now I'm going to have you reach your arms like a big hug. You're going to round forward, open your arms, turn your palms up, look up at the ceiling, and then exhale, flex forward again. Inhale to lift. Exhale, curl. Inhale up and flex forward. And lift. 2 more times. Rounded and up. Last time, flex and up. Leave your arms out. Lift one heel and drop it. Try to keep your pelvis still. Isolate it just to that side. It's 4 and 3, 2. Finish with it up. Now I'm going to have you bounce down into that plie deeper. Come up and side stretch. Leave that heel lifted, bounce down and up and over. Drop and reach. 2 more times. And last one and over. Come back through the center. Pop that other heel up and down. Lift and drop. And let's do 4 and 3, 2, pause with it up, press down into the ball of the foot, dip the hips down, rise up and side stretch, and then drop. Up and over, and drop. 2 more. Last one, and down, drop your heels. All right, we're going to dip down, stand up, and just swing your arms up and down a couple times. Last 2. You're done. I mean, just this. One more time. And done. Wiggle your feet back in. Ta-da. All right, have a great day. Walk like a champ.